Hello, my name is Darrell Goodman. Welcome to this video about Resolv Advanced Allocations. Resolv Advanced Allocations is part of the Resolv suite for supply chain and distribution. The Resolv suite is purpose-built exclusively for SAP Business One and is certified on both SQL and HANA. In this video, we will cover an introduction to advanced allocations, including how it can provide immediate help to your business. And although every Resolv module can be individually licensed and run independently, we'll discuss how advanced allocation complements other Resolv modules to build a complete, robust, and embedded solution for SAP Business One. We'll also introduce some pick list basics to help explain strategies and techniques being used to improve warehouse workflow in SAP Business One. Finally, we'll show you how you can automate these processes with advanced allocations by using rule and event-based triggers and controlling when, what, and where materials should be picked. Let's start with the introduction. What does advanced allocations do? How does my business run better with it? And where does it fit within the Resolv suite? The primary purpose of advanced allocations is to create SAP Business One's standard pick list documents in an automated and efficient manner. Doing so provides several benefits above and beyond the pick, pack, and production manager, such as ensuring predefined rules are executed to manage the warehouse workflow. This enables you to ensure optimal use of your warehouse staff and purposeful expansion and flexibility in bin allocation criteria and selection. One of the key objectives in introducing a system to manage any part of your business is to create a repeatable process that improves predictability, performance, and scalability. By adding Resolv Advanced Allocations, you can plan and execute the warehouse process in advance to accomplish that goal. This reduces or eliminates the need to rely on any single employee that has built up years of tribal knowledge or is reluctant to change how the warehouse is always run. It also allows your warehouse manager to work with and manage their people instead of being tied down in front of their computer. By implementing the right plans for some or all of your picking process, you can optimize efficiency, increase accuracy, and speed, as well as add the ability to monitor in real time and track history. Advanced allocations can be used along with several other Resolv modules to improve and automate their functionality. For example, with warehouse management, an order can go directly from e-commerce, EDI, or entered by customer service to the scanner because of the automated pick list. For vehicle routing, advanced allocations can use query rules to release material for a planned truck route and schedule. Order reservations will allow intelligent consolidation of supply from purchase orders, stock on hand, or production orders to be reserved and pre-staged into special bins before being released for a final pick. Similar capabilities exist for freight management, such as prioritizing next-day air shipments when releasing pick lists. For equipment rental, the inventory transfer requests can be released as easily as any distribution order. In the upcoming sections, we will review some pick list basics and then see a demonstration of the Advanced Allocations module. In this brief section, we'll introduce SAP Business One pick lists and explain how they can be used with well-known picking strategies to optimize the warehouse workflow. The pick list document is the primary output for Resolv Advanced Allocations. SAP Business One uses the pick list to specify who should pick items, when, how many units to get, and where in the warehouse to get them from. A pick list can be created for one or more document types in SAP Business One. These include outbound documents, like the sales order and AR reserve invoices, as well as internal documents, like production orders and inventory transfer requests. The way in which a pick list is created can have an impact on how the warehouse operations flow. While there are several different techniques to picking, today we will focus on some common picking strategies that can help make your business run better. Resolv Advanced Allocations can help automate any or all of the following. Pick by order is a very popular method used by smaller warehouses or lower volume warehouses. As the name implies, only one order is included on each pick list. It allows the picker to gather all of the items at once to fulfill the order, which also makes it easy to pack and ship. Resolv Advanced Allocations can help automate this model by controlling rules such as if back orders are allowed and prioritizing certain orders over others based on business rules such as shipping type, like next day air, or customer priority. Pick by customer is similar to pick by order, but adds the ability for multiple orders from the same customer to be combined and picked, then likely shipped together. Wave picking is an example of multi-order picking that is designed to improve speed and efficiency of the picker's time by reducing the number of trips to the same bin location. Although Resolv Advanced Allocations can create wave picks based on several factors, I'm highlighting two commonly used ways to batch the picks, by item and by zone. A wave pick organized by item, or item group if you want, is very useful for companies that ship a high volume of small orders, often with a single line item and a quantity of one. An example would be a business-to-consumer e-commerce company. By grouping all of the requests together into the same single pick list document, for example, one released every hour, the picker only goes to the same bin once each wave. The orders are then either labeled or separated at the packing station where there is less physical movement required. A wave pick by zone is similarly useful for high-volume warehouses, but differs in efficiency for complex orders. In a zone pick, the picker remains stationed in their part of the warehouse, and the pick list contains only the items that are in their zone. Again, this minimizes physical movement of the picker. This time, multiple items and bins are picked in the zone during each wave and put into a tote or a box that is passed to its next zone to fill or to a packing station, often on a conveyor system. Now that you have a better understanding of the benefits of Resolv Advanced Allocations and pick lists in SAP Business One, let's see a demo of how you can create and manage rules and schedules. Transaction-based rules are designed to work similarly to the approval templates in SAP Business One. You can select the documents, originating users, and use built-in criteria or custom rules to determine if a pick should be created. Within the Resolv Advanced Allocations setup area, we'll be able to create rules and conditions for which documents should be released to the pick tickets. The simplest way to release documents to create their pick list is to use the transaction details method. This method works similar to the SAP Business One approval templates. Each document will be evaluated individually. You can then set up one or more rules for the specific users called originators, or you can check the box so that all users will be part of the rule. In addition to selecting which users are included in the new rule, we can also specify which documents to include, in this case using the sales order. Then you have the ability to choose which terms to apply. For example, to specify that all sales orders should be released, or only when certain queries apply. When the query option is selected, you can pick from the queries saved in the Query Manager. And in this case, we're identifying only those sales orders that have been entered by the management team. The result is, when a sales order is simply added or updated and meets the criteria, it will automatically be sent to the pick action for processing. Query-based rules are more similar to alerts in SAP Business One. You use a query to determine what is included and set a schedule to control when the rule should run. Another way in which you can find eligible documents to be released to pick lists is to use the query details method. We have the ability to specify which document we want to evaluate, and here we're looking at a sales order. However, this time, instead of being based on the transaction being added or updated, it will be based on a condition as identified in a query. Now again, we could use the save query from the SAP Business One Query Manager, or as you see here, we have the ability to specify a query right in the query details window. A query gives us the flexibility to update information, such as pulling data from the SAP Business One document and or user-defined fields and tables. Additionally, you can use a where clause to be able to determine which documents are eligible to be included. In this case, we're looking for orders where the order is both approved and open, allows partial shipments, and the customer has been identified as a key customer by using a property on the Business Partner Master. You have the ability to create unlimited transaction detail or query detail rules, and this gives you the flexibility to specify different groupings for any of your business needs. For example, if you need to process e-commerce orders, such as Amazon orders, at a rate faster than you would for orders that are entered by fax or phone, you can specify those orders in a query such as this. Whenever you're working with query-based details, you can always preview to be able to see a list of transactions that meet the criteria and verify that the query is returning the data that you expect. The pick action compares the demand of the released documents to the inventory handling rules to determine if there's enough available and which bins to pick from. Let's take a look at the pick actions. When combined with the transactional queries and the rules, the pick actions determine how a pick list should be created or if one should be created at all. The first area we have is the input actions area. In the input actions area, we have the ability to determine whether or not we want to release an order with any back orders, only release it for lines that are fully available to ship, be able to determine if a document is entitled to ship, or to be able to specify what we want to do with non-inventory items or bin consolidation if we're using order reservations. The next tab allows us to create filters for which we're going to determine what portion of the warehouse we're going to select the material from if this pick list gets created. You can leave it blank, which will allow you to use the default allocation criteria specified in your warehouse setup, or you can limit to specific areas within your warehouse. For example, if we were to use this rule along with a query that identified only large orders, we could specify that this pick list should only be picking from the bulk area as opposed to taking from our forward pick zone. Additionally, you can use the advanced criteria to provide further refinements in the selection of your warehouse zones. For example, you have the ability to create rules on a per warehouse basis, or to be able to use either the item or document unit of measure to control where you'll pick from. You can also specify that you'll allocate in multiple units of measure so that I can possibly select a single document in both sales unit of measure, an inventory unit of measure, or using all available unit of measures. In this case, for example, I might be allocated to select a pallet, a case, and an each in order to be able to satisfy a quantity, as opposed to just getting one large pick for a certain number of eaches. This can also be combined with SAP's bin unit of measure functionality. So on your bin master setup, you can allocate which bins contain your cases, and the system will allocate to your case or pallet bins in addition to your piece bins. After applying any filters to your warehouse, the next step will be how to organize your pick lists. You can see here that you have the ability to split your pick lists by customer, by document, by item group or item, or by warehouse, or any combination of these. You also can separate pick lists by sub-levels of the warehouse. For example, if I want to have multiple pick lists, each by zone or bay, I have the ability to do so. And if I've defined bin attributes, such as the climate control or security for caged versus non-caged materials, you can choose to have your pick list separated as well to ensure that the pick list is filtered to meet the correct environment. The Automatic Allocation tab allows us to specify how the system will allocate to the bins within the filtered locations. So for example, we can use the default settings from the warehouse, or we have the ability to use any of the predetermined methods of allocating inventory. This includes first in, first out, last in, first out, or FIFO or LIFO, the ability to use the bin code order, an alternative sort code order, which is commonly used to create a S-like pattern through the warehouse, or to be able to try to use this system to determine which bin in the warehouse has the most or least quantity, trying to optimize the bin space within your warehouse. In addition to these predetermined conditions, you also have the ability to create custom rules. While I'll review a custom rule later, here you can see if I choose custom, it will give me a drop-down box, allowing me to select my own custom rules, such as if I wanted to limit it to bins that were specified specifically from Walmart. Additionally, if you have order reservations, you'll also be able to pre-consolidate material to allow stock to be moved from picking locations into customer reserved bin locations that allow you to be able to organize material from multiple sources, such as stock, production orders, or purchase orders. And then when all of the material is consolidated into the reserved location, the system can use the consolidated order reservations functions to know to release the sales order, allowing it to be shipped. Finally, within the pick list details, we'll be able to specify what date the pick list should use, with the default being the demand date from the source document, in this case the sales order. We can also use a query to specify the date for which it should be picked, or the system date for which the document was created. We can assign the pick to a specific user by rule, or we can allow the system to do an automatic assignment. This is a round robin that allows us to be able to find the user with the least number of open pick tickets or the least number of open pick ticket rows, because sometimes pick tickets are of different sizes, even going down to the ability to have the pick ticket with the least amount of quantity, because you have some pick tickets that might have a large number of items with a small quantity compared to a pick ticket that has a large quantity but maybe fewer items. Or alternatively, you have the ability to use the query to specify which owner should be used, and again, that allows you to specify any logic that you'd like. Further, you have the ability to limit which employees are included in the round robin assignment, and this can be done by using any of the roles from the Human Resources Employee Master. This allows us to be able to specify both a role and or a team. So if you have to have employees that meet specific requirements, such as being forklift operators that can reach high material, or have special access to secured areas, you'll be able to create this rule as well. Again, this ensures that you have optimal use of your labor so that we're spreading the pick list evenly throughout the available and appropriate employees. If you'd like, you can also specify an alternative picker besides the user that's responsible for this. However, typically this will be the same, and you have the ability to add any specific remarks that are required. So if you have comments that you'd like to appear either printed on your pick list, or if you're using Warehouse Management System to show up on your screen, you have the ability to include the remarks. And again, the remarks can be static or they can come from your query field. Let's look at the custom allocation rule that we saw earlier. In the custom allocation rules, you see you have the ability to write a query, and the query can help you identify which bins meet the requirements that you want to allocate to. You'll see you have the ability to use parameters that come from the transaction, such as the business partner, user that created the document, the ability to identify certain release quantity or warehouses, and then you can write your query. In this case, you can see here, I'm only looking for bins that have the description of Walmart, and if I preview, I have the ability to see the different items that are in those bins, their available quantity, and the bin codes that they go through. When using this rule, any of the items that are on the order for Walmart will automatically be sent to these particular bins. Scheduling and monitoring comes from creating pick ticket rules that combine a transaction or query rule and a pick action with a schedule. These run and the results are shown in the history.
Pick tickets rules are the processing tool by which Advanced Allocation uses to be able to bring all of this together. So here you can see we have key customer sales orders. When we have the key customer sales orders, they meet the conditions that were in the key customer query. We can drill in to be able to review the query, and this was what we reviewed before, where we were using business partners that were identified as a key customer by using property on the business partner master. Again, we can preview to see the results and identify which customers are outstanding. Next, we were able to assign it to a particular pick action. This pick action allows us to specify again the rules that we want to use, such as being able to release all available quantities. In this case, we'll allow back orders to be able to be processed if necessary. Next, we'll specify whether or not we want this to run manually or on a scheduler. The scheduler here allows us to specify from different schedulers, such as immediate processing or every 15 minutes or every 2 hours, to be able to evaluate it if any documents have met the criteria. When looking at the scheduler, you have the ability to create recurring rules that can specify the stop and start times, as well as the frequency in which they should run. This allows us to specify that it can run every day or just on weekdays or even just on weekends to have different rules. And you can have multiple rules applied to the same schedule. You also have the ability to activate or deactivate your particular rules. When using the scheduler, the system will automatically advance any orders that met the transactional query details to pick lists. However, you always have the ability to come in and use the Pick Ticket Manager to manually execute a rule at a frequency that's different from the scheduler, or to be able to manage any rules that are not automatically scheduled. This also provides you the ability to have insight into any transactions that met the criteria but were unable to be released, although we'll be able to look at that in the history as well. Here you can see I can specify for any of the different rules that I want. Again, I'll select my key user customers. I can now filter on a particular customer or document status if I wanted to, and also be able to use a date filter. In this case, I'll look for all open documents that are available, and I'll search to find them. The results set comes in, and I'm able to see the detail of open orders that are waiting to be released. I can select all, or go ahead and select individual rows and then be able to process them in order to be able to release this to a pick list. Additionally, I can look at my pick ticket history. Looking at the pick ticket history allows me to see which documents were included in either user-initiated or processor-initiated releases of pick lists, and to be able to see the details. Here I can see errors or completed transactions, and if I take a look at the errors, you can see here that when I did this, 0 pick lists were created and there was an error found. I can highlight the row and press detail or double click to be able to get in and see why the user was not able to do it. And here you can see the pick action returned no available release quantity because there was insufficient quantity on hand. As a result, the item did not pass validation, and you can use this data to be able to notify an owner via a query or alert, or you can simply just wait until the material comes back in which case the system will automatically reprocess and release this order when there is sufficient available inventory to release. Again, you can see this with all of the different errors that are found, or you can also look at the completed history. Looking at the completed history, you can use the information such as when the run was completed and the runtime to be able to determine when pick lists were released to the warehouse. This can be useful in being able to group and analyze information such as wave pick tickets that have a combined release, be able to see when the wave started, and then be able to compare when the pick lists were all picked to determine when the wave is completed. Whenever a pick list is created by Advanced Allocations, the Advanced Allocation rule code that was responsible for it will be populated into the pick list. This allows for further analysis and review, as well as reporting within the system.
I hope that you have seen how Resolv Advanced Allocations can automate and manage your warehouse workflow to save time and effort for your warehouse manager and staff. If you have any questions or would like more information, please visit www.achieveit.com or reach out to me directly by phone or email. Thank you.